it's another side that like wants to take more, and wants to go that one more round, because like going in one more round when you don't think you can, that's what makes all the difference in your life. You know what I mean?
Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another episode of One More Round, the Rocky Series podcast. I'm your host, and with me, of course, today is Katie and Kyle. Katie, how are you doing today? Your hair looks really long, by the way, is it?
It is really long, but I just cut 2 inches off it.
Don't just say just 2 inches. That's a lot of length you cut off your hair. It's quite noticeable how much you cut off when you said that. When I saw you on camp today, I was like, oh, my goodness, it looks extra long. So, Wow, good for you. Kyle, your hair, 2 inches?
I did cut my hair yesterday, actually. All the cool people are cutting their hair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's funny. Well, my haircut appointment is later this week after my work week. So mine will be cut. So I will be part of the cool club.
Well, it does look like it's getting long and out of control, right?
I was actually just going to say it looks like you just got it cut. Like there's nothing to cut. It's very short.
Well, I appreciate that. I do it every 3.5 weeks. I'm very particular OCD about that sort of thing is my hair. I don't like the sides getting poofy. So I wish I could hire, you know how like movie stars, actors, they're on a TV show, right? And their hair never changes length through the whole season. Like I wish I had that like in my house, somebody just go zip, zip, zip every day for me so I could have whatever length I wanted. But Becky tried doing that during COVID and she says never again. So she won't do it before you ask. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We got a big episode today. So let's get rocking and rolling right away. So let's start with, here's the thing. We're not getting into emails. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit sad. There were some like longtime emailers that used to email us all the time. Like the Screen Nerds podcast dude. Where is he? He stopped listening to the show, I guess. It's okay. People move on. Maybe he hates Rocky 5. Let's be fair. Some people hate this film so much that they stop listening. I'm not even joking. Michael from Screen Nerds podcast, he was always great with his insights. But the YouTube comments and viewership has actually gone up quite a bit. And so the YouTube comments have gone up. And they're actually quite fun comments. So let's talk to those YouTube comments, shall we?
All right. Eddie is my God says, thanks so much for reading my comment out on the pod. It made me smile ear to ear. Katie nailed it, by the way. English bloke here. Although I am well-traveled, so the accent isn't as strong as it once was. I agree with Katie on that note. Reykjavik is incredible. I've listened to the podcast in England, Scotland, Ireland, Romania, Sweden, Spain, and Morocco so far. Ha ha.
Wow. He is well-traveled. Eddie, what are you? A spy? A gun runner? What's going on? Like, what are you doing?
He's just like me. He likes to travel.
Well, okay, how do you finance these travels? What are you doing? I need to know Eddie's story here. Okay.
He probably doesn't have kids.
That's how. I spend a lot of money on my dogs. Not as much as human kids, but
you do.
Sure.
Yeah, when you were telling me about some of your dog expenses, I was like, I actually think you might spend more on your dogs than I do on my kids.
Yeah, that's funny. Eddie
is my God says, oh, and one last thing. Eddie from Iron Maiden is indeed the reason for the name. Nailed it in 2. My real name is Paul, but Katie can call me anything she wants. Ha ha. Oh, also bonus slide content. He was at the F1 race in Vegas this weekend. He was briefly interviewed on the grid and then waved the checkered flag at the end of the race. It popped me to see my favorite actor show up at my favorite sport.
This is very telling. He likes F1, so he's definitely white. Let's say that. He's well-traveled. That's a rich man's sport.
My friend's husband went to Vegas for it too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got the clip here of Sly being interviewed on the tarmac really quickly, so I thought we'd watch that. But I couldn't find the checkered flag video.
Martin Brundle.
Hey, Martin.
How are you?
I couldn't be better. I was going to race tonight, but I got a bad ankle.
Okay, sorry to hear that. You know, I interviewed you on the grid.
No.
1999, 25 years ago. In Hungary.
Was I tongue-tied or am I okay?
No, you're just fine. We're both above ground still, so I think we have to treat that as a bonus.
You're doing a fantastic job.
It's really kind of you. And you look at are you supporting anybody in particular today?
Oh my God, you know, I'm conflicted. Love champions, but in love with underdogs. That's my thing.
All right, good stuff.
Thank you.
I love champions, but I like underdogs.
That is his thing. Did anybody else feel like a little uncomfortable at how close they were together? Like their faces were so close together.
I think it's loud.
Yeah, I think that was my first thought too. That it's like that was a lot of background noise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's probably yelling in his ear a little bit. But yeah, they were talking close.
This is from 1984. What? This person says, can someone explain what's happening with Sly's eyebrows? That's the plastic surgery. That's what it is.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. If you look at him from 40 years ago and now, like you really notice it, I think around the time of late 90s, early 2000s is probably when he first, it's a noticeable.
So is it because the actual lift is legitimately I thought they would figure that out though. This is happening. There must be a way to mitigate the lifting of the eyebrow too. I guess I don't know.
No, he's going for that look.
Oh,
like that's a procedure that people request. Like that.
Okay.
And there is such a thing as, you guys heard of like a lunch hour facelift?
I'm really ignorant of anything plastic surgery.
I kind of am too, but now I work for one. But
yeah, I was gonna say you got some insider scoops here. This is great.
But I don't know a lot about this, but it's not actually like scalpel cutting, this lunch hour, but it's a procedure where they sort of embed a small string in your skin, and then that pulls wherever you want. And that's what it kind of looks like, Sly's eyebrow, but he probably has legitimate work.
He probably has people following around, tipping, knucking, plucking, team of people. Okay.
But that's what it is. He's been lifted.
Sure. Fair enough. Ugh. Okay. I think we answered the question. That was our job. We did it for them.
I could be wrong, but
until proven otherwise, I think your explanation is pretty on par there. Yeah.
Robin Arrow 1337 says, I'm a bit late with this comment, but I was there for a few minutes on the live stream, so I think I can be forgiven. Oh, thanks for joining. I don't know how much information I want to give about myself. I find some parts of mystery amusing, but I will say one thing. As a French person, I do pronounce the X in redux. So I was pronouncing it wrong. It is redux.
Robin, thank you. So that's great. Because we were saying maybe the French say redux. But Robin, I'm going to say she still hasn't said otherwise. So she has said we are saying it correctly. As a French person, the French people say redux, at least when it comes to that word. So there you go. Redux it is. Of course, referring to Eccentric Views or Gino, our favorite Italian Australian. His Rocky IV Redux is en route to my house.
Speaking of Eccentric Views, that's who the next comment is from. He says, although I'm in a happy relationship with the mother of my 6-year-old son, I do have a harmless schoolboy crush on Katie. I'd love to send her a copy of Rocky IV Redux, another insightful Rocky V episode. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Gino. And there you go. He knows not to bother with Kyle because Kyle has no way of watching it.
Yeah, I would love one. That'd be awesome.
Hey, what are you doing?
This is not just for Kyle's information, but for everyone listening. If you need to know where to go, just go to Eccentric Views on YouTube and go to his YouTube channel. In the Rocky IV Redux trailer or explanation videos that we've shared on this channel, he gives the link to a cloud. So it's free to download. Katie and I just happen to be getting hard copies of the same thing that, we can own that version forever in case the cloud goes down. But yes, it's free to download right now. People can watch it right now. It's free to download. I'm just waiting for my hard copy. I'm going to watch it on the TV. But thank you so much, Gino. Appreciate that. We got one more from our favorite wrestler, I think.
From Hector. All the parent talk. I loved it. It made me reflect on my own kid. I only have one. She's 19 and at university. I went through all the highs and lows, and hearing Kyle and Ryan talking about kids was really nice. As a kid myself, I thought home team was stupid. As an adult, I find it a cool phrase, which means I must look stupid to 10-year-old me.
Yeah. Look, Hector, if you don't look stupid to 10-year-old you f***ed up, bud.
Yeah, I guess there's that too. Yeah. It's funny. Yesterday I was dancing in front of my daughter, silly dad dance. My default dance mode is silly. I'm not a good dancer. And my daughter's like, Dad, you're like seriously embarrassing me, which just fueled more dancing just in the living room.
In public, I care a little bit about how much I embarrass my kids, but I still like to do it. But in private, I'm like, all bets are off.
All bets are off, yeah, especially when I'm paying the mortgage on the home. But of course, she's smiling and laughing, but she's like, Dad, please stop. But then she started filming me to make me stop.
Does she ever call you cringe? That's like,
oh, yeah, cringe. I'm definitely cringe.
Yeah,
I'm cringe.
My daughter hates it when I use Gen Z or Gen Alpha slang.
Because that is cringe. When us old people try and use their vernacular. It doesn't
You say
sound
stuff
right.
like Skibbity Rizzler and
Wow, it's even beyond
Alpha
me.
Chad and oh my god, I have no idea what most of it is, to be honest.
All right, any more YouTube comments? I think that's it.
I think that's it.
And we appreciate the thoughts and insights and the questions. I'm glad we can answer someone's question regarding plastic surgery. That's great. That's what we're here for. We're informative. We're entertainment.
Well, I don't think it was like a real question. I think they were just like, what's going on here? Like, you know.
This is a bit. This is me playing a bit. Yes. I recognize we're not a real Yes, we're the authority on plastic surgery. Thanks for the disclaimer, Kate. I don't want Katie to lose her job. How dare you give that false information on your podcast? So remember last episode, I shared with you guys, I believe it was just last episode. I can't believe how fast 2 weeks goes. But last episode, I shared with you that Tony and Rick, great guys, they were at the Rocky Run and they interviewed John Rivoli. And John Rivoli said, was that the last episode? I believe it was.
I think so. Yeah.
And John Rivoli said that they're the best Rocky podcast out there. Well, he got wind of it. He messaged me right away, and I'm not even joking. He was pleading for forgiveness. He's like, I know, I'm sorry, it just came out. I really don't believe it, but he was really sweet. And he said I could tell you guys that. I do know why he said what he said when he said it, but I cannot say it on the air. I have to tell you guys offline. There's context to it, but I can't say it on air. There's context, so I'll share it after. If you want to hear it, and if you don't, that's fine. Okay. He knew that I was teasing, but he still kind of felt bad. I'm like, John, don't worry about it. You've been more than gracious on my podcast. You've given me artwork. Don't even be silly. However, the round 14 guys, through no fault of their own, keep getting praised and whatever from other people. I don't know what's going on here. You know, I've given them a platform on our feed. They've interviewed John. I've interviewed John. John says they're the best podcast. Doesn't say it about me. Then they have also now interviewed the Rocky Fest people. Remember, I interviewed Andrew from the Rocky Fest, right?
Oh, they had him on too?
They didn't have him on. It's a team. So I interviewed Andrew from that team, and it was a great interview, and it was really cool. And Kyle said, hey, Ryan, you should try to get something out of them regarding your, like, Kyle was sort of teasing, you know, you should try to get something out of them. I'm like, well, I can't ask for anything. That's, you know, but I get what you're saying, but no, it's just really sweet of them to even ask to interview me. Well, some of the same team from the Philadelphia Visitor Center went on the Round 14 podcast. Oh, but let's just see how this plays out.
How can Round 14 become a part of this?
Okay, so there's Rick saying, hey, how can we be a part of this?
That's his subtle way of asking.
He just asked.
Maybe they're just better at their job than I am, these two. Okay, kudos to Rick for saying this. So I didn't ask Andrew how I can be a part of this. So here we go. Here's the answer.
Yeah, I mean, you already are a part. Now you're official partners on Rocky Fest, like, honestly. But you guys stop. Anytime you stop by, just let people know that, you know, you're with me.
Okay.
And I'd love for you to be at any of the events. Comp tickets all around.
Comp tickets all around.
I'm pretty sure you could, if you wanted them, you could reach out. Here's what also I think. I think this gal, she's in charge of the team. The person you interviewed was probably not the director of it. He
could have reached out and said, hey, look, I had a really good time with Ryan. It was a really great interview, and it was a really good interview. And he could have said, hey, I reached out on your behalf, and you too can get comp tickets.
If you wanted tickets, why don't you just ask? Why don't you just ask me?
Yeah, I asked you to hear nothing. What about my prime, round 14? What about my prime? It stings a little. I'm telling you, after 500 interviews and nobody gives anything, it starts to sting after a while. Good for the round 14 guys, but they basically said anytime you're down in Philly, and I am going down to Philly in May, June of 2025 is the goal. I would like to have comp tickets for the tours that they continue doing throughout the year. So breaks my heart a little bit. Congratulations again to the Round 14 podcast. They're the best Rocky podcast out there, and they're getting swag wherever they go. So good for them. Okay. Enough of that. I'm on to happier things. Let's get to the Rocky 5 film.
Are we doing trivia?
Yes, we're doing trivia.
Oh, okay.
How many rounds does Tommy's championship fight go to? That's when he fought Union Kane on TV there, I believe. How many rounds does Tommy's championship fight go to? True or false? Robert smokes. Question 3. Who was the first person? Oh boy. Tommy ever knocked out? Oh, sorry. I know it. Okay. Okay. All right. I got it. You knocked out Robert first bedroom.
My bedroom, bitch.
Question 4. Who does Tommy thank after he wins the championship?
I just put the initials. I didn't even feel like writing the entire thing.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, don't worry. We're not going to see your work. I don't write down anything. You guys just have to trust me. It's from the top of my head. Which,
hey, Ryan, if you're cheating, you're doing a fucked up job right now.
What what gift does Mickey give Rocky in the flashback scene? Okay, this one's a little bit easier today. I think I'm 5 for 5.
Sorry, what gift does Mickey
Yeah,
give Rocky?
what gift does Mickey give Rocky? Herpes.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
That's right. All right. So I think I'm 5 for 5. What's your guess?
Yeah, I'm for sure 5. Like all those were easy.
I'm not certain on the first one.
I'm like 95% on the first one. What round did Tommy knock out?
Oh, that's right. That's fair. No, that's actually
like I'm
right.
like 95% sure what it is.
I'm 95 as well because if it's not the one number
two.
I have,
I'm
between. I think we're all between the same two numbers. That's funny. Okay, all right.
It didn't go to 15. I'll tell you that.
It didn't. No.
Tommy wasn't even sweating after that fight. That's why he was able to street fight right after. Quite frankly, yeah. Okay, let's get to the movie. So I went back just a little bit because we kind of had a rush ending last episode. I want to go back to the "you a damn fool" scene again.
You a damn fool. Maybe we ought to sign Mrs. Balboa to fight Kane, huh? Looks like she's the one with the cojones in the family.
Yo, you don't talk like that in front of my wife, you know?
There ain't no park bench, boy.
Damn fool, and you don't talk to my wife that way. But I love the delayed kind of anger response, but he's still kind of sheepish about it.
Rocky he's very non-confrontational person. You really have to do something particularly messed up. And it's not till Rocky Balboa where he finally changes that.
But even then, it was like measured. It wasn't, he didn't like lose his cool in the moment.
Oh, no.
He thinks about it and then he's, I'm going to go do this. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was initially just taking it, right? Like he was just like, oh, whatever, which is kind of, par for the course, which is really being like, in that case, the bigger man. In reality, if you're in a situation, say you're like a kid at school, you can't have people do that to you and you not respond because it's going to encourage them to keep doing it. But then if you're in a situation like that where you're never going to see the person again, it's really just best to ignore it, which is what he typically does. But then it sometimes feels good when you're like, no, I'm not going to ignore it. I'm going to put this guy in his place.
And then I love George's Zana Park bench, boy. Not an unfair statement because, of course, we know who they are within the film universe, who these characters are. But to Duke, this is just some white boy sitting on his limo. Like,
get off my car. That's reasonable.
Yeah, like sitting on someone's car is actually disrespectful. It really is kind of disrespectful. I'm on George's side there. I wouldn't want somebody just sitting on the hood of my car.
I'll get him. If that touches me again, I make street pizza out of him.
Rocky.
So that was a quick little scene there. Very quick. But just before Adrian goes into Rocky, he says, I'm sorry. Paulie has a line, or Burt Young has a line that says, if that guy touches me again, I'm going to make... I couldn't figure out the dialogue. It says, if that guy touches me again, referring to Duke, I think I'm going to make street peaches out of him. I think or something like this. Street something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to pound him. I don't sweat George Washington Duke. They cut it out right before this dialogue here, but yeah, he just kind of threatens Duke.
Hey, I have a question. J&M Tropical Fish. So that was there in the first film, in the second, of course.
Yeah.
Do you think that's an actual business that survived all those years, or do you think they put something up there?
I think it did, to be honest with you, because I know it was recently, the last 5 years. I don't know when exactly. It was during my podcast recording years. It has been torn down. It's gone now. But it was kind of recently.
Yeah, the building or like the actual business, though?
Both. I believe it was a real pet store.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, in fact, it was. Yes, it was a real pet store. The owner... Oh, where did I hear this from? It was from somebody that I talked to within the film world, like somebody that worked on the set or something. But yeah, that was a real pet store. And I wish I could remember the story. Got some sort of deal or some sort of whatever acknowledgement or talk to Sly or something to that effect. But anyways, the owner gave them access to the pet shop. It was a real pet shop. Yeah,
like I figured it was in the 70s. This neighborhood's gone so downhill that it's almost like inconceivable that like that business would survive. But I guess it could have.
Yeah. So it was a real pet store. I just don't know why I'd have to go listen to all those episodes again to hear myself tell that story. I forget what it is now.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I didn't want to.
Oh, you guys want privacy now? I'll be upstairs.
Now, so Paulie says, it's not captioned, but he says it sort of sarcastically. He goes, "Oh, you guys want privacy now? I'll go upstairs." Yeah, they want to talk.
Paulie has some issues with social boundaries.
Oh.
Again, the choice of words is really interesting because they're out in public. They're not at home. If you were in the living room, you'd say, "Oh, I'll go upstairs." In this instance, he should have said, "I'll go back to the house." But he says, "I'll go upstairs." And they're just like on a street. It's weird.
They're outside Mickey's gym, so you could argue. I wonder, does Paulie do they have access to Mickey? Remember, Mickey had a little bedroom up there.
You're right.
Like Paulie lives up there.
Paulie lives in Mickey's
gym?
Yeah, remember because Robert moves in with him later when he gets kicked out of his room, and then Paulie's like, "Hey, his plumbing don't leak, right?"
I thought they were referring to the house.
Yeah,
he lives in the gym and he like trains at the gym. Paulie's not living in that house with them.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think so. I think he lives up in the gym.
Really?
You know
Why do you think that?
Sure.
I'm curious.
Yeah, if it's in the film, I need to know the scene. I'm not disagreeing with you because that's logical because we know Mickey lived in the gym. Saying so, Paulie said, "Hey, move into the apartment. I will take Mickey's gym while you guys live in the apartment that I kept."
The house.
Yeah, well, his house, yeah.
Or house, sorry. So it has an apartment feel to me. You're right. It's like a 2-story, whatever, or 3-story probably. I always assumed too that Robert and Paulie shared a bedroom in that little.
Because the son's bedroom was in the basement. Paulie's bedroom is upstairs, as I assume Rocky and Adrian's is too. There's 2 bedrooms up there. The kid has to move in with Paulie upstairs in the house because Tommy now has the basement.
I'm doubling down.
I think I'm disagreeing with Kyle on this one.
I love how Katie's like, usually I disagree with Ryan, but
Yeah.
Is this how this feels, Ryan? Is this how
yes, it sucks, doesn't it?
I mean, it's possible.
I'll stop on the scene. And there's like something in the movie that triggered that in my head.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's fair. And I could have easily missed it. We never see it physically. We never see the Robert Paulie room. But if you were to ask me 7 minutes ago, if you were to ask me, where does he sleep at night when Tommy moves in, I would have said he shares the bedroom with Paulie in the apartment, or sorry, the condo that the family shares. That's exactly what it was.
I'm actually doubling down on that, Ryan, because when we see in the Creed movie, is it the first Creed movie?
It's a different house in the Creed movie.
Yeah, it's a different place though.
Is it really a different place?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's more of a standalone home. So Paulie and Rocky just moved.
Oh, I mean, I know it's different visually, but you know how they have 3 mansions?
No, you're right about that. That's a fair argument too. But I think it's like legitimately, we're really telling the audience it's a different altogether.
He's just moved to a different neighborhood or whatever. Okay.
Also, this scene here does give some evidence that Paulie's going upstairs.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm saying. That speaks to what Katie's confusion about that dialogue would then is evidence for Kyle's theory.
Okay.
Well, I'm agnostic about this. So you're both doubling down. I'm actually agnostic, meaning when I have more proof, I'll change.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. That's fair. I won't argue that.
Because I like Kyle's idea because it just like logistically, the pragmatic part of Ryan, that makes sense. We have an extra room up there. Why not Paulie live in there so he can be alone with his adult magazines? But
then Robert wouldn't need to share that because there's 2 bedrooms upstairs.
I don't think they share the bedroom. I think they just share the space.
Even if Paulie lived above the gym, there wouldn't be a reason for Rocky Jr. to move into the gym. He would just move upstairs to a bedroom upstairs.
That's right. That's odd.
Wait, what?
There's 2 bedrooms upstairs. So if he no longer has the basement and Paulie's...
That's not a bad argument.
You're right. Logistically, it doesn't make sense that Robert got the man cave in the basement man cave, because the 2 bedrooms upstairs are the adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good theory. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's keep watching. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
But right now, for that one little line there where Paulie points to the gym and says, "I'm going to go upstairs." That's an odd thing to say upstairs. Yes, it is upstairs in the gym. There is an upstairs to the gym, but it sounds like a living, like it's, I'm going back inside the building. I'm going back to the gym. The fact that he says upstairs is odd. Yeah.
Do you think any other Rocky podcast has had this discussion?
Well, the Round 14 guys, because they're a better Rocky podcast. They've done that for sure.
I know it's hard. You can't fight anymore.
Again, a quick little moment. They cut that part out. I love that empathy that Adrian shows Rocky. I know it's hard. I know you can't fight anymore. I just like that little line. They cut it out.
I agree.
Rocky, I'm sorry. But you know, it just takes one bad hit and you could be an invalid.
Well, I feel like an invalid already. Why'd you gotta come back here? You're too smart for this place here.
I got nothing to do. Gloria, I called Gloria. She said, she could use some part-time help.
I like Rocky's thinking here. Adrian, you are very bright, as he sees it, a very bright woman. Why are you going back to emptying the cat litter? You're smarter than this.
Well, she has no other choice. Like she probably has no training or education otherwise.
There's that, but Walmart, even a supermarket.
I think she wants to keep an eye on him. I think she wants to supervise him.
Well, she does mention that she wants to be close to him. She does say that.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah,
you're right about the logistic parts about her being next to her husband. That's fair.
What I love about this scene is you can see Tommy kind of like awkwardly biding his time in the background, keeping a distance for them to have their conversation, but he's like waiting for this thing to end so he can go talk to Rocky.
I'm not listening, but I'm just waiting for your argument to be over.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable. I really feel the tension. The way they're having this argument where they're like nervously like kind of bouncing around and she's kind of trying to stay. That seems very real. They're not just like standing there having dialogue. You really feel the tension because it's just like so bubbling up and she's so scared, and little dance that they do with the awkward pacing is really good.
Agreed.
Yeah, but why didn't want to do this, Adrian? Why didn't want to go back to the same place you started from? I gotta do, but you don't gotta do it.
I wanted to be there so I could be close to you.
That's fair. She wanted to be close to Rocky, so that's a big argument for that. I was just, again, thinking pragmatically about money. I'm like, these guys need money. Get a better job. Again, work at a major food store or something. You could probably get better, steadier work. But yeah, she's going to shovel shite from the kitty litter.
All right, yeah. It's getting a little cold out here. Maybe it's okay. Maybe we better get inside, okay? I understand.
Are you all right?
What?
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's fine. It's getting cold, okay? Did we ever leave this place?
I don't know.
What are your thoughts on that answer?
I love it. If you look at the timeline, any timeline in Rocky is suspect, but notwithstanding that, they lived 30-something years in this neighborhood, and then they had 8 years or whatever, 5 years, something like that, depending on how you look at the timeline. And then you're back. You have spent most of your life here. It would almost be like your time, like living in this mansion or something, was like a dream. And like you woke up from that dream and now you're back in reality.
It's tough. I mean, they have each other. They have their health, more or less. This is where I think people have a hard time. I know I did as a younger viewer. I mean, as I get older and understand life's not about money, blah, blah, blah. But they had all this security. And they could just enjoy life. They could travel like Katie and Paul, who travel the world. They had money and means to do that kind of life. Like we see later in this film, Robert makes the offhanded comment, of course I've been to Disneyland, And Jules says, you make it sound like everyone has. So they had that life where it was just, oh yeah, I've been to Disneyland, I've been to Paris, I've been to Europe.
They're in their 50s now with no money, no retirement.
They're 44.
Oh, yeah.
Both the characters' ages and they're actually 44.
I know. I'm thinking of like the real life ages, where I'm like, or was that the real life age?
Yeah, that's the real life ages too.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian seems older.
She does, and I think it's just the way she's.
So they're in their 40s, so 44. Yeah. You have no retirement, no prospects really necessarily. Well, in reality, Rocky does because of his fame, but still, you're looking at a hard life. This is America, so you don't have like a big social safety net for when you get older, right? Like you have some. Like, you're going to have to be working till you physically can't work anymore. That's a daunting prospect. To go from, like, you're taken care of to, I'm going to be scooping cat shit till, like, the arthritis takes over. Like, that's not good. That's got to wear on you.
I would love to have seen, or even in novelization form, I would love to have seen the events of Rocky V to Rocky Balboa, of them opening the restaurant together, the discussion of just them, their first going over the menu. It would have been nice to see Adrian living that life. I bet you they were very happy together, working on the restaurant together.
I assumed he didn't open the restaurant until she died.
No, I thought they did it together.
I know for a fact. So on the sign, it says since 1995.
That's right.
And then on Adrian's grave, she died in 2002. So she would have operated that restaurant for 7 years.
Yeah,
that's what it was. You're right, Colin.
Yeah.
That's what we established. It's been a while, of course, but we did establish that timeline that the restaurant was open during her life.
She probably did a great job on that restaurant. She really put her heart and soul in it. And then it's like Rocky being there is the draw. You still have to have good food, good atmosphere. Like it can't be a shit restaurant, but it helps when you have someone so famous like that will like share stories with you and stuff. I would eat there, obviously.
You know what it's called, right? What the actual restaurant is called in real life?
Oh, I don't.
I do, but I can't.
Trivia
I can't
point?
recall it.
Well, that's called remembering.
I know what it is. What is it?
Victor's Cafe.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it's a real restaurant, and within the restaurant, there's the memorabilia, pictures, and stuff like that. But it's officially Victor's Cafe. Yeah,
that is like a cool testament to Rocky and Adrian, though. Like I was saying, you're scooping cats poop till you die, but in reality, they didn't. They dug their themselves out of it. I think when you get there, that's probably what you're thinking, though, in your despair.
Right.
Like, at least maybe me. That's how maybe I'm projecting, but like I think you'd have an initial period of despair where I'm like, I am screwed.
But that's what I was saying at the beginning. I would be depressed that you had all this means and security. Now you're stressed out and struggling again, and pulling milk money out of kids' ears.
He is depressed, and this is calling back to the first one because all I want to do is prove that I'm not just another bum from the neighborhood.
Yep.
And he's saying to her, I'm just another bum from the neighborhood, aren't I?
I could understand that, his train of thought there. If you were to look at it more objectively as like an outside third party, you could take his money away, but you can't take away his accomplishments and his legacy.
But it's what he's feeling.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as an outside third party, I could say that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm in his situation, would I feel that? Probably not. Like, I'd probably have like emotions come in that would like make me feel that way too.
Oh, and I also want to say when she says, I don't know, the work print copy, their version of that was she didn't answer. She just turned around and walked away.
I kind of like that better than I don't know. They're both fine, mind you.
I didn't show it, but just imagine it because it really is just that. She just doesn't say, I don't know. And he walks away. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just an interesting, for her, the character to yell, I don't know. Interesting delivery is what I meant to say. But I might have delivered like, I don't know. That might have been a different. It's odd how she delivers it. I think the wording is correct. I don't know if we have. But the way she goes, I don't know.
I think she did say it like your inflection. Like,
really?
I don't know. I did take it as like she's hearing what he's recognizing, what he's feeling by saying that.
It's almost not comical, but almost lighthearted, almost instead of. But maybe she's trying to be cheerful. Maybe she's trying to be. I don't know.
I could see that. I think there's something to that. However, I think the look on her face and stuff says otherwise.
She's more flummoxed.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know. Like, she's just overwhelmed. Like, did we ever leave this place? I don't know if we did or not. Right? Like, it feels like you woke up from a dream.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah. Did you notice that Mixed Gym still needs sparring partners?
Yes, I was going to comment that, Ryan. I love that attention to detail because, like, that's not an actual boxing gym. We've talked about it before. You actually had someone look at the past film and look at those details and put it in there, which is good. Sometimes they don't do that. This time they did, so give them credit. I know I comment on this all the time, but it's just like it's sad to see the decay of that neighborhood. Like, you see them no sparring partners, but it's also completely covered in graffiti. Like, it's also like you're coming back to a worse version of your neighborhood. It's not even you're back to square one. You're like back to this, my neighborhood's gone to crap.
Hey, mind if I talk to you now? My head's a little busy right now.
No shit. Come on, Tommy, read the room.
He's just a kid. Yeah,
he's just a kid. Yeah.
He's 19.
Yeah, but come on. He just saw them like having a very serious conversation. He's like, hey, now would be a great time to come talk to this guy.
Yeah, he has some growing up to do.
And Rocky's perfect response, it's a little busy right now, which is a very Rocky-esque, not being rude, but being very clear. A ruder person would have said, can't you just see I'm busy? Like, bug off. He just goes, my head's a little busy right now.
It's funny, the graffiti there said onion on it, which was weird. Someone wrote onion in graffiti on there. I wonder what.
Oh, it's weird. Maybe it's like a rapper's name or something. MC Onion or something. Got to peel back the layers like an onion. That's his lyrics. Got to peel back the layers. Now, this is interesting. The work print means just that it's not finished. They haven't maybe filmed things. Things are filmed later after the work print's done. They sometimes do what they call pickups. They'll film things after the principal filming is done. Like, we need this scene or we need a little bit more storyline here. You'll see a lot of the Jewel, Robert, or this whole sequence here is not even in the work print. So the whole sequence, if we get to today, of Jewel saying to Robert, you have a nice butt, all that stuff is not in the work print. So if you were to watch the work print as a film, we don't see this car interaction right here, not in the print at all. It's not referred to, it's not in. So I'm wondering if this was filmed indeed later after principal photography, and they came back and said, we got to add some more, behind the scenes stuff with George Duke. Because the work print means that it means, hey, we're done. Let's start editing. But now we've got some pickup shots here. So,
George, I don't know if you're going to get him. This guy Balboa, he don't think straight anymore.
None of these bums think straight, but all I need is an angle.
I'll fight Balboa right now. I'm better than Balboa ever was.
Hey!
So Union King's in the car. He's like offering the challenge to Rocky, who's not even there to accept the challenge. He's barking in the promoter's ear, like, I'll fight him anytime, anywhere. George's like, dude, you don't need to convince me. I'm working on that. He seems like very, if you were to program a AI character to be all this guy thinks about is the challenger.
Honestly, he reminds me of my kids. Like when my wife and I are like trying to have like a conversation to work something out, not a fight, but just like, logistically to work something out. And then the kid comes in the middle. It's like, I'll do this. I'm like, shut the fuck up. We're trying to talk.
Yeah. They're having a business conversation. I want a grilled cheese sandwich. I'll eat it right now anywhere.
Yeah.
And the parents like, shut up. We're talking about our finances. You and your grilled cheese sandwich. But this guy's like one mode oldie. He talked about fighting Balboa at the press conference. Now he's talking about fighting Balboa in the car. Like, we get it, Union. You're going to fight Balboa.
I'm 100% on Duke's side here. I love Duke as a villain. The more I watch this film, he is so entertaining.
Yeah, he's great. You start to relate with him more. Get off my car and say to park bench. I agree. Yeah, this is not a park bench. Maybe I'm more George Washington Duke than I like to think I am.
Yeah. I own the paperboard, you boy. You will fight who I tell you, where I tell you, and how I tell you. You got that?
Don't aggravate the hand that feeds you, huh? All right?
None of these bums think straight.
Oh my God. I don't remember this. He more than puts him in his.
That last line is a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. You fight how I tell you to fight, i.e., if you go down in the third, I tell you to go down in the third. Of course, Sly wrote this. Sly was very aware of how corrupt boxing can be.
He's based on Don King, who is notoriously shady. Was a criminal before he became did prison time before
he curb stomped somebody.
Yeah,
he did.
Yes.
Yeah, he does some businessmen or executives are kind of just ruthless people in general, but Don King, by extension, Washington Duke, are basically mob guys that found a business,
they're mob guys, basically. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So right here, Katie from Reddit, boxing promoter Don King served prison time for stomping one of his employees to death. Oh
my God. That's so awful.
In 1967, he was found guilty of second-degree murder for killing a gambling associate who owed him $600. The charge was later reduced to manslaughter, and King served 3 years and 11 months.
Manslaughter? How is that reduced to manslaughter? That's murder.
It might not have had enough evidence.
And over $600?
Yeah.
Wow.
The first officer on the scene said the beating was a brutal, almost demonic assault. In an interview with Officer Bob Tunn, he said, a man's head bouncing off the asphalt pavement like a rubber ball. Then he saw another man standing over him with a gun in his right hand, applying another kick to the head.
Oh my God. And I even like murder shows and stuff, but that is so brutal.
Yeah, that's Don King. He should not be celebrated in any way, shape, or form. He's a murderer.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just thought he was super shady,
And that too.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that was Don King. Him taking money from boxers and mistreating Tyson, that's definitely in his repertoire of abilities.
Oh, yeah. No, he's a scumbag. Yeah. Just like Duke's a scumbag. No, Duke's entertaining because he's a fictional character. But
he's a fictional character, yes.
We can allow ourselves to believe that Duke hasn't murdered someone.
No, I don't think Duke has murdered anybody. Yeah.
Could have, though.
Only in America. Only in America.
Only in America could you murder someone. You get out real quick and then become rich.
Yeah, very much so, especially right now.
It's weird, actually, compared to Canada and other places. America does pretty long prison sentences.
Harsher sentences, yeah.
So
but we have worse crime.
Yeah, it's funny that he got only did 3.5 years. For example, Dog the Bounty Hunter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He got convicted for first-degree murder through Texas's law of parties, which is if you're there when the murder happened, in concert with the person who actually pulled the trigger, you're just as guilty as the person who pulled the trigger. So he didn't actually himself kill someone, but it was like some sort of robbery where someone was killed, and he got convicted of first-degree murder, but he ended up only doing like 18 months somehow.
Well, that's what felony murder is if someone is killed in the act of a felony. So if you rob someone, so that's similar. I think there was a time, though, I don't know when that was. There was a time in America where it wasn't as harsh.
Yeah, I think this was the 70s. Yeah, I think like this, because I think like someone like Don King, if he was convicted now, would have done way more than 3.5 years. In Canada, though, he probably would have done 3.5 years, honestly.
Well, I was going to say, there's been longer for dealing marijuana. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I need is a hook.
Machinations are running in his mind. How do I get Balboa in the ring? And it worked. He got it.
He knows how to work people. Like he got where he is through that.
Beat up for the jacket.
Massive.
Yeah, it's a big school. It's a real school too. Yep.
I don't think it looks that big.
Well, it's like at least 3 stories.
Yeah.
Kid, right? Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I seen your picture in the paper. And you know what? Your real man's a punk. What? What? What are you talking about? So what are you wearing my coat? You want to beat it? Give me my coat. I'm not kidding around anymore. No way.
So there was some talk. Obviously, the kids were going to bait Robert into this confrontation. So Jewel was part of that bait, but say, "Hey, ain't you Rocky's kid? How you doing?" But she realized it was going to go to a beating because when she realized that the assault was happening, she's like, "What are you doing?" I thought we were just going to tease him, but like, no, we're going to mug him essentially.
I'm confused Jewel's role in this. They seem to be talking like in concert. And it's like, okay, he's out now. Let's go for him.
Yeah,
she seems to be playing her part. What did she think was going to happen?
Oh, they probably said, "Hey, when Robert comes, we're going to harass. We're going to tease him. We're going to tease him. So I want you to start talking
around a bit." You know,
maybe not even that kind of violence, just tease him. And then, but once she realized the assault was happening, she wanted it to stop. And that's when, what's his name on the?
Is it Chippy?
No, Chicky is the guy with the haircut. Sorry.
No. The haircut is referred to as Chicky's friend in the credits.
That's right. You're right. It's Chicky's friend.
Chicky's the redheaded one.
Yeah.
He's the actor that's played by, what's his name? I wanted to interview him, but we already talked about. I reached out to him. He said he was going to interview on my show. He totally ghosted me.
You're not a friend of the podcast, Chicky. You're not Chicky here anymore.
Chicky probably got interviewed by round 14. That's probably what's happening. Yeah, to be fair. That's right. IMDb, you're right. I believe it's referred to as Chicky's friend. And he's got that terrible haircut. It's a good right hook he got, too, by the way.
Punched in the stomach, then punched in the face.
Yeah.
That's not a good place to be.
That's how you shoot someone. 2 in the body, 1 in the head.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think it's also 2 in the peak, and then near my.
Oh, we're editing that. We are editing that for sure.
Sorry.
No, it's funny. It's funny, but we got young listeners. Young listeners. So Jewel is looking on a little bit. Okay, this is going too far.
Don't get sick now.
I find something weird about this. When they take his coat, they're both running while holding the coat. Like it's like a team effort because like it takes 2 of us to lift this coat, and then it does transfer near the end. But they run quite a ways while both holding the coat, which I thought's odd. Like who choreographed that?
I'm kind of surprised they didn't have it be a fancier coat. It's just like a regular coat.
It's fancy to them though. I think Chicky wasn't even wearing a coat.
Maybe.
I hear about this when you go to prison. There's like shoes are in short supply. Having good shoes is hard to get. Guys will often shake you down to take your shoes when you get in there.
I thought it was issued, those canvas issued prisoner shoes. Like,
but they wear out and stuff. But guys could have their own sneakers in prison too, like real shoes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
And so I think maybe like Chicky, whatever his name is, he didn't even have a coat. So it's Robert's coat is nice, but it's also a coat.
A coat, yeah.
And it's like, I don't have this coat. I'm going to take your coat from you because you're weak. They resent that he was at a silver spoon. They didn't know he went to Disneyland, but they could probably imagine like this guy living in the lap of luxury. And they still call him Rich Boy, even though he's not rich anymore. They maybe still believe he has some money, or like, even though he's in Philly, he still has more money than them.
That, I think it's just a humiliation tactic.
Yeah.
Too. It's like, we're just taking this. Whether the jacket's worth anything, take my jacket. It's worth $60, $70. Whatever.
Yeah. He needed the coat because he's wearing it. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's also, he could take a coat from another kid.
Right, but it's got to be.
But he wants to take a coat from this kid because he's weak and he's new. It's an easy target, but I think also there's some resentment towards him. So it's like this is kind of putting him in his place.
Yeah, Robert on the ground, he does look very pathetic. I was going to use a different P word, but I won't. I'll say he looks very pathetic on the ground. So poor Robert's in the cold, jacketless, angry.
Could you imagine that? Your first day of school, and you get the shit kicked out of you, your coat taken, and then you're laying on this cold street surrounded by garbage. You came from some fancy school like a month or two ago, and now you're in this through no fault of your own. All this stuff's happening around you. You have no control over it. That's gotta mess you up inside.
Oh yeah, bad day, first day of school.
Oh, I'm just noticing. It's Jimmy. Mike's twin is here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Jimmy, his twin brother who works at the gym as well. Mike is here. So this is a new character in the Rocky films. We would like to introduce everyone to Mike, Jimmy's twin brother who works at the gym. Because that's right. No, so it's the other way around. Mike was in the first film. That's right. Mike was in the first film, played by Jimmy Gambino. But Jimmy is in this film, played by Jimmy Gambino. So the same actor plays two different characters, which is very common in films. You know, like
so versatile. Versatile.
It's what? Like, seriously, come on.
You remember the sparring partner sign? I was having faith in you. Then this. Now we're back to square one.
It is odd. You're right, Katie. Though it is like, how hard is it? Can we just it's bad enough we aged the kid 10 years. Like, why can't we just get the credit? Like, why can't the credits just say, like, it's the same? It's only 14 years ago that Rocky 1 came out. Like, it's not like 50 years ago. Like, Mike and Jimmy, who played, like, what did the call sheet say? What did the script say because he has speaking parts? So when it came to his time to be on the film, did they just call him Jimmy? They didn't even bother giving him his name that he had in the first.
Yeah, I wonder if it was just a mistake because he purposefully brought back this character because he's again like 5 is supposed to be cut back to 1.
That's right.
Oh, let's get that Mike back, but his real name's Jimmy. And then did somebody just accidentally put Jimmy in the credits?
Well, they would have to put Jimmy twice. Jimmy played by Jimmy Gambina.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right.
It would have been nice if this gym had been operating the whole time and that Rocky kept a relationship with Jimmy or Mike or whatever the fuck his name is. He could have been running this gym the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Then Rocky comes back to this gym he's been supporting. That would have made sense. This guy here had a career at the thing. Rocky just abandoned the gym, and that guy's unemployed or has to work at some other boxing thing. And he's like, "Hey, I'm opening the gym again. You want to work for me again?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, I got nothing else to do." Sure.
No, you're right. No, but Kyle, there, you figured it out. Mike didn't come back. His brother Jimmy did.
He's like, Mike doesn't even want to talk to you anymore.
That's right. He's like, well, you look just like him.
He's still short and bummed out about it.
That's right. He's not deaf. He's just short. Yeah.
I know we talked about it last time, but the cleanup effort to get this, like that gym was in rough shape. And now it looks great. I'd say this gym looks just as good, if not better, than it did during the original Rocky. That would take thousands and thousands of dollars. Even if you're doing all sweat equity, you're not paying people to clean it up. You have to buy new equipment. You have to buy paint. You have to it's a lot. It's a big undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
So they must have worked super hard to get this place up and running again. It must have taken an investment. Maybe they took a loan out or something.
Well, back to the Jimmy character, who looks just like the Mike character from the first Rocky film. I'm going to go with your theory there, Kyle. Rocky did reopen the gym. Mike went off to greener, better pastures. Maybe he's working at the Delphi gym or Tough Gym. And now Jimmy's here. Rocky went looking for Mike, sees Jimmy, or maybe Jimmy killed his brother Mike. I don't know. I'm trying
to take over this sought-after job of his.
Yeah. This is what happened. It is the same guy, but so Mike killed someone shortly after the events of Rocky 1.
At the docks?
Maybe someone was teasing about his height or something like that, and he snapped and killed him, and then had to go to prison for his crimes and just got out. But while in prison, he found his Lord and Savior and became a new person. When he became the new person, he was no longer Mike, the evil one. he became this new person, which he decided to call Jimmy. And that's his new identity. That explains everything. That explains the disappearance. It explains the new name. That's what happened. I'm just going to say it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
We'll never know.
He had to come up with a new identity. I don't necessarily think that he like found God and
I had to find something for the name, Katie.
Yeah,
Come on.
he was but he was like, okay, I killed somebody. Now I'm on the run. Now I'm Jimmy, even though I look the same, and I still
gotta grow my hair out a bit. Gotta grow so that no one recognizes me. Still gonna have that hat though.
I love it. Let us know, folks. Let us know in the comments below why we have Jimmy and not Mike. What are your theories?
That don't interest you, this cup rocking drinks out of around the house. $10.
Well, hey, man, how I know it's the real thing?
Look at the lip marks, huh?
All right, $5, no more.
Look at the lip marks. Is it the sly lips? Is there some sort of curl or bend in the lip marks? That's how he's got the snarl in his lips. Look at the lip marks. It's the sly snarl in the mug.
What is he wearing? Lipstick to put?
So what's a lip mark on a mug if it's like clean?
There's not, but a woman would have lipstick marks, maybe, and
you could argue it's just that greasy film that we can leave behind. Like even when I took out
there's no he and then the guy buys it. No, after you wash it, there's no more lipstick.
It's not washed. Always in charge of the dishes.
Washed. Yeah.
I think he's just being silly with the lip marks, but he probably isn't lying that Rocky at some point used the mug. So fair enough.
Paulie the entrepreneur. He's always looking to make a buck.
He's selling Rocky like forks and spoons and.
Okay, this is also something I don't understand. Paulie worked at the meat packing place and then presumably stopped. But then Rocky Balboa, I seem to think he's like, when you're in this place, like I've been here for like how many years? Makes it seem like he's been there the whole time, but he's clearly not working at the meat house right now, even when he first comes back.
So that's a good question. I think if you want to really be like, not devil's advocate, but if I was a defense lawyer for your statement, like if I had to go against you in court, I would just say where in part 5 or even any of the films did he ever say he quit the meat packing place?
Well, we know he quit in Rocky 2.
Did he quit it entirely? Did he say, I hereby quit, or I also work at the doctor?
The whole point of him wanting to work with Gazzo is because he didn't want to work in the meat place.
Because of his arthritis in his hands and stuff. Yeah.
And then
he wanted a job in 3.
Yeah, I know he wasn't. Like, I know what you're saying. I'm just trying to think what I would present with the evidence on screen.
He goes back to the meat factory approximately the same time that Rocky and Adrian opened the restaurant.
Yeah, I was going to say something to that effect that, Kyle, I agree that he's not there now, but after the events of this 5th film, he kind of makes his way back. He has to. You can't keep selling mugs.
There's only so many mugs you can sell.
Yeah. We just have to assume. I think I agree with that when they focus on the restaurant. Paulie's like, well, I got to, the gym doesn't have the same focus anymore.
Okay.
Excuse me. Tommy Gunn.
Is there someplace I can change?
In there. Give me the money. Time.
Is there someplace I can't change? No, this is the gym. There's no changing here.
No locker room.
I know it's a silly thing. Where can I change? Not is there somewhere I can change? Of course, this is a gym. We change our clothes here.
Oklahoma has one of the lowest human development indexes of all the states.
Is that true?
Yeah, and it's still high compared to like a lot of places. Like
I thought you were being silly.
Right? No, like Oklahoma has one of the lowest HDI. Colorado has like one of the highest HDI.
I mean, I'm contributing to that.
HDI is like income, life expectancy, education.
Wow,
stuff like it's
smart.
It's a combination of all the like just human development. Oklahoma is one of the lowest ones. I think education's part of it. I think he just didn't learn to speak correctly.
It's okay. I don't think we have anyone from Oklahoma listening to our show because they don't know how to log into the internet. So yeah. I thought HDI was what you plugged into your TV to make the picture clearer from your devices. Oh, it's HDMI. Sorry.
Rich, good friend. Listen to me. If you want to survive, you gotta learn to slip the jab. Peep and hide and hit and not get hit. Okay, take off.
I love how Rocky has all this advice now about how to not get hit. If you want to last longer, try not to get your face hit.
Good point.
Yeah, he should have been like, I'd find that more credible. It's like, hey, you don't want to be like me who's taking punches in the face all the time, Believe me, you should, if you don't want to be like me, you better slip that jab.
His name was Richard, I think. Was that his name? Richard. Okay. And so Richard is in the ring with Rocky, of course, for our audio listeners, but everyone knows the scene. And Tommy's about to come in to spar. He wants to show his stuff to Rocky, show off what he's got here.
Rocco.
Yeah.
You remember Tommy Gunn?
Oh, yeah.
He says he wants to fight. I tell him to get married.
Why? That's Jim humor, Rocco. Oh, okay. Hey, let's see what you got there, kid.
It's a funny joke, but come on, even Rocky should have got that joke because Rocky has terrible jokes all the time. Shell shock and the horns don't work. He should have gotten that one.
Yeah,
is he so innocent about his marriage?
Sorry, he's like dumb from getting hit in the head. That's kind of what I got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. So here comes Tommy to show us stuff. Now he's going to say no to the headgear, which is actually Creed did a call back to that. If you remember in the first Creed film. Adonis said no to the headgear too when he stepped in the ring to challenge somebody.
Real men don't use protection, Ryan.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm a real man times 6, I guess.
Hard to disagree, but also, I don't understand. Why would you not? You're so confident in your ability to box. You won't get hit in the head.
That's why. To showcase that not only you're confident that even if you got hit, if you didn't slip the jab or block it, the punch won't hurt you. That's what it's showing.
Okay.
Get married, eh?
Want to 10 minutes later.
Yeah, all right.
Go.
Yeah.
It's funny, that guy Richard, I just realized, was in the ring, but they called Benson in instead.
Yeah.
Oh, Richard is way smaller. It's like a different weight class, I think.
Okay. So was that Jimmy calling for Benson? It was
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
His voice sounded kind of a little bit deeper than from the first. I mean, it's been 14 years. Okay, so there was Jimmy's first line of the film.
What's the cajones? Cajones. Cajones is Latin for Spanish nuts. Yo, Rock.
I love it. I love how it's Latin for Spanish nuts.
Oh, it's so Paulie-esque. I like it. He's drinking out of his flask.
Yay, alcoholism.
Just very Paulie-esque that it's Latin for Spanish nuts. Like, I very much appreciate the writing for the characters are very specific. Paulie says things a certain way. Rocky says things a certain way. Mickey says things a certain way. I appreciate that.
We're ready.
Wonderful. Hey, kid, you got the headgear?
Nah, I don't need one.
He's gonna get his cajones knocked down. Okay.
This has been said before, but I gotta put it on the record. There's no way Rocky should be saying cajones because he never saw it written down. If you saw that written down, you would mispronounce it if you didn't know the J sounds like an H. But he only heard that. He heard Duke say cajones. So he would not know to say cajones.
You're right, Kyle. Good tidbit.
Yeah, you mentioned that in our first podcast, Going the Distance. You did mention that, and I forgot you did, and that's great for our new listeners. That
it's got to be on the It's got to be on the record.
It is on the record. Let the record state that Kyle has said it twice now, and again, no other podcast, not even the round 14 guys have ever caught that little tidbit there. I'd forgotten that. You're right. He's only audibly heard it. So how would he research the word? So the fact
look in the dictionary, Rock.
That's right.
How do you spell cojones?
Yeah, this whole universe is ridiculous. Jimmy, Mike, the agent of the kid, it's all over the place. Where does Paulie live? I don't know. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, Benson, go easy, right?
Sure, okay, Rock.
Time.
I know it's silly, but I know this for audio listeners can't see it, but I love the way Sly acted there. It was very like, hey, Benson, go easy on him, all right? And the way he moves, very Italian, very mafia-esque. Just those mannerisms, actually, it's kind of cool acting. Instead of just saying, hey, Benson, go easy on him, but and not moving at all. His whole little mannerisms in that 2 seconds. Like, just say, hey, he's new in the gym, go easy on him. You know what I mean? Just, let him fool around. I thought it was kind of cool acting. Very,
agreed. Yeah.
All right, just go easy now. Slip the jab now. Oh.
Go easy.
Hey, kid, what's his name again? Tommy Gunn. Tommy Gunn. Tommy. Whoa. It ain't no law to duck.
Oh, now that's calling the kettle black.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now here's a new scene. I forget what it was, but here's a new scene that we didn't get in the original cut.
Ow. Hey, kid, move your head a little bit. You're going to break his knuckles. All right, work it easy now. Go side to side. That's it. Whoa. Hey,
so that was just the new scene there. It just said you're going to break your knuckles on his face or whatever. So that was just more evidence that Tommy's not fighting quite good.
From Rocky 1, how Rocky's like, oh, that's for the Beatty Crateshaw fight. I broke both my hands in his face. That's a pretty good picture.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Good callback. Yeah.
Is that the name too?
Yeah. This is kind of a side note, but like my son, who we think has autism, just speaks in quotes. He doesn't just speak in quotes, but he often just thinks of the quotes will be relevant to what he's saying, but the quotes will just pop up in his head. And apparently it's called echolalia. But I have that too, where like I always like can think of a quote from something that's like relevant to that situation. So
and you do. You're very good at it.
Autistic. Like maybe I just got graced. I don't know.
Grace.
Yeah, you might be on a. You might. Well, we're on. I always say. I think everyone's
Yeah.
on some sort of spectrum somewhere on something. Obviously, no one's black and white about anything. But yeah, you might have some. Kyle, you might be slightly autistic. You never know.
Well, you have that thinking in quotes. Say it again. What's the name of it?
Echolalia.
Yeah,
that's great.
Maybe have that.
I do it for some things. Well, from the film Rocky, I do. Someone says, "Why do you work in the military?" I'll say it because I can't sing or dance. Yeah, yo. No. But I've used the can't sing or dance line a few times in my life just to articulate why I do something because I can't sing or dance. So
I am so disappointed in life when I'll quote Rocky stuff. And
and then
people don't get it. I'm like, oh man.
I was just gonna say if they don't get the sing or dance quote, if they don't go, I know that then like, okay, well, you obviously don't because anyone that knows Rocky would respond.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what are you doing? Hey, man, take it easy, man. Hey, come on, you guys, lighten up. It's called sparring now. Going easy. Oh. Hey. Okay, hey, kid. Hey, lighten up. You bet your time up. That's it. Smell that, Rocco?
Yeah, I saw you guys' reactions there to the pummeling that Tommy's doing. What were you thinking?
I was just empathizing with that Benson getting hit in the body like that. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, imagine if I'm just training 1 minute and I'm going to spar and now I'm like going to be injured probably. I'm going to be all fucked up. Oh, I'd be pissed off.
I was thinking it was like further evidence that Tommy is like clueless about social cues.
Yeah.
Everyone has been, the guy himself is like pushing him off like, hey man, cut this out and rock it. He's heard it now like 3 times and Tommy is
just laser focused. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. Like he doesn't get social cues clearly, but I think Tommy's like laser focused on impressing Rocky and getting trained by Rocky, and it will just nothing will get in his way. Like he's just like a bull trying to get to that place.
Yeah,
it's like he doesn't care if he pisses off Adrian. He doesn't care if he beats the shit and pisses off Benson. Like he doesn't care in his mind. Like I'm just going to do whatever I want to impress Rocky.
Yeah.
When in reality, like I think he's missing those social cues because it really could have gone like where Rocky was pissed off at him for doing that and just ignores him, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to the scene later, but yes, I agree with everything you're saying. ... Remember, he's always seen somebody when he fights. That's why he gets angry and stuff. So he's seen red right now. He just starts boxing. You'll see his face when this ends. He seems like he was in a trance and he breaks out of it. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was doing what I was doing.
Okay.
The order of opportunity. Hey, that's it. What did I tell you? Hey, time.
So he's not hearing the world. It's a hum around it. He's not hearing the commands of the team or the people outside. He's seen his father. He mentions that later at the dinner table. He's seeing his dad when he fights. So right now he's just seeing his abusive father. So he's not even thinking, but he gets to like basically like Hulk mode. He's the Incredible Hulk right now. He's not Bruce Banner. So he's in a rage mode. But of course we got to mention Paulie right away. The businessman Paulie always coming out. Hey, we got someone here who's hungry, young, big. We can train this guy. He's already thinking, to his credit, he's thinking, how do we get out of this mess? Well, we train this guy, Rocky. He's not wrong. We get there. But Paulie just sees it way ahead of Rocky.
Hey, that's it. Time.
He says, I know. That's hard to watch. That's like Drago versus Apollo scenes there. That's a real beating.
Look at his face here. Look at his face. He almost looks crying. Sad, like emotional, which I kind of lends to what you were saying about thinking of his dad. He almost looks like kind of childlike there.
Yeah, he looks scared almost. Scared and fearful as well. So watch as it transitions when he stops. I think I caught it, but
what's the matter with you? Tommy, are you crazy or something, huh? Hey, what's the matter with you, man? Get out of the ring. I'm sorry, get out of the ring. Cool off, kid. All right, I'm sorry about this. He speaks of opportunity, Rocco. Hey, look.
He's like, I'm sorry. Like, he's apologizing right away. He's like, I didn't even realize I had hurt you that bad.
Yeah.
He can't withdraw the punches. That's why when he's like his hands are down, he's still punching him. I don't think Tommy's a bad person. I think there's a misconception here that he's just a jerk. He's a bad person. I think in that moment he's like, I'm sorry. I don't even know what I was doing. He was in the head. Like,
yeah, Tommy's just kind of like a dope in this film, I think.
Well, he's the White Tyson, like you mentioned. That's the point. He's angry at the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now Rocky's going to explain, hey, man, when I say take it easy, and now he's going to give the instructions why he's disappointed.
Going easy don't mean breaking bones, kid. Man, I'm sorry, but what do you think? Well,
but I love that.
Hey. Well, anyway, what'd you think?
Yeah. I'm sorry about fucking that guy, but hey, I did a pretty good job, though. You have to admit, Rocky, I really took it to that guy.
Also, I love how Rocky's like saying to Benson, "Oh, sorry, man, get out of here." He's like seriously hurt.
I think he's spitting up blood from the ribs. Okay, now we're getting to a work print scene coming up here. Some additional dialogue.
Well, I think you eat jams like they was candy. You know,
What do I think? I don't think.
He goes, you're eating what? Jams? What do you say?
Jabs like they was candy.
Oh. Thank you, guys. All this time, I kept thinking, is he saying jam? Thank you. I don't know why I never caught jabs. Clever line. I like
Once
that.
we're done this, I want to mention that the background to this scene.
Well, I think you eat jams like they was candy. You know,
What do I think? I don't think you listen too good.
Okay, so we'll stop it there because it goes into a whole other scene that we'll discuss about, but I never caught, thanks guys for that. Jab. I kept hearing jam.
It does sound like jam.
It kind of does sound like it.
Jabs through context.
Mm-hmm.
But you both got it right away, so that's good.
It almost looks like the Rocky. I don't think it is Rocky Marciano, but it looks like him. Kind of similar to what was in Rocky's apartment. But if you remember, in the gym, they used to have a picture behind that ring of Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when Gaz was like, remember him? Like when Rocky was sweeping in the ring. But you could see that Rocky's not like showcasing himself by putting a picture of himself back up.
Good point. It's just like all the old timey boxers on a mural.
Yeah, he doesn't want the attention. Yeah, that picture there, like that. I think that's the Rocky Marciano picture.
I think it's the Marciano one, yeah.
And that's where Rocky replaced himself with that, presumably.
No, it makes sense. I like that. Yeah, we don't see Rocky up there anywhere. Yeah.
Which is kind of goes in line with what Katie was saying about how he feels like he's like another bum from the neighborhood. Why would you want to see me as like an inspiration?
All right. You guys ready? But Katie, I'm going to let you lead the way. Okay. Well, actually, before you say it, why don't you say the two numbers that went back and forth? I'll let you know if that's what I was thinking too. So the question was,
what round did Tommy win the championship?
So how many rounds? What round did Tommy win the championship in? So when did he not?
I ultimately put the first round.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I put. I don't remember it going to 2.
I couldn't remember if it was 1 or 2, but I put 1.
Like it did not go longer than 2 for sure.
2 rounds.
Ah,
dang it! Good job, Ryan.
Thank you.
When Ryan said 2 rounds, I immediately thought of that guy's like, you think the fight will go 2 rounds? You feel strong?
Oh yeah, that's right. From the very beginning of Rocky. Yeah.
Dang
but it's
it.
funny. I knew it was fast, but I feel like there was a bell ring or some
corner.
Sort of
Dang it.
Okay. True or false? Does Robert smoke?
True.
Yep. Who was the first person Tommy ever knocked out? His father.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote his dad. Is that okay?
Yeah, dad, father. He actually answers his dad. So there you go.
Like, oh wow, we're getting
you get an extra half bonus point for saying dad. There you go. Who does Tommy think after he wins the championship?
George Washington Duke.
Yeah, that's right. Great moment, that scene, actually. And the last one is, what gift does Mickey give Rocky in the flashback scene? One of Rocky Marciano's cufflinks, and that is the answer. I got 5 out of 5, baby!
Good job, Ryan. We got 4, Kyle?
Yeah. We're still tied overall, Katie.
Ryan's climbing his way. Yeah.
Ryan's 5 points behind, but that's not insurmountable.
No, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Thanks everyone who watched us live and everyone who, of course, watches us after we go live, after I edit the show. So send us an email. You don't have to, or comment on YouTube, whatever you prefer. Actually, it's fine because it don't have to be long, but we miss some of our old-time emailers. I guess they stopped listening, which is totally acceptable. I get it. But with that, this episode is over.
I didn't hear no bell.
I just want to